All right, coming up, communicating with family, friends, and coworkers. Tips from an award-winning motivational speaker when mid-morning returns. All right, we're back, everyone. If you are ever asked to speak in front of a group, do you freeze up? Maybe your message is great, but your approach, not so much. Meagan O'Nan is an award-winning motivational speaker. In fact, she has two really big events coming up, and we're going to talk about those in just a minute. We thank you for being here today, Meagan. We want to get you to share your secrets of success to us for communicating with big groups, even to each other interpersonal. So good to have you here.
Thank you for having me, as always.
So you're not afraid to speak publicly because you're here on TV this morning.
I'm not afraid, but I'm always nervous.
Uh-huh.
So
And I think
I
everybody
guess that's a good
is.
distinction.
All right.
Yeah.
So let's just sort of start there. I think most people on some level have a fear of speaking in front of others, whether it's a small group or a big group.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you and I were just talking about this, that
Mm-hmm.
it's really about the fear of not being accepted, not being heard, not being loved at the end of the day. So that's why most people have that fear. And we found out what the name was. What was it
It's
called?
glossophobia
Glossophobia.
that is a real thing. It is a real fear, scientifically proven.
Yes.
So, what are your tips for people? Like you tell us how you got into like motivational speaking to the point where you're doing competitive speaking.
I have loved speaking since I was little. I knew that I was going to be a public speaker when I grew up. Like
Okay.
I practiced speeches in the shower when I was little.
Okay.
So I had this vision that this is what I was going to do with my life. And so I've been actively doing it professionally for about 15 years.
So, what does it mean to be a professional public speaker? Does it mean that you're on, in a list of people that folks can pull from, or is it, what you spend your time doing for your livelihood?
Yeah, it's for my livelihood.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, this is what I do for work. This
Okay.
is how I get paid. And there are, bureaus and agencies and agents that you can work with to help you get booked. But at the end of the day, it's really up to that speaker to get their own work. It's just like any other industry, any other business. You have to work hard. And yeah, it's a process. It's a roller coaster ride, just like any other entrepreneur.
So, for a person who's not necessarily interested in making this their livelihood, their job, but they just want to be able to get up and give a presentation at work or stand in front of their church or their civic group or, the 3 or 4 people in their small group,
Yeah.
how do you get past that fear of, as you said, at the end of the day, it's just not being accepted?
One thing that's really helped me is just getting to a place where you realize that you're there to serve. You're not there necessarily just for yourself. You're there to serve. And one thing that you said while we were talking is look for those kind eyes in the audience, the people that you can connect with. So don't speak to the room. Find those people and rotate as you're speaking. And another thing that really helps me, because I am still always nervous before I go on stage, is preparation.
Yes.
I'm going to practice my TED Talk 100 times before I ever get on that stage. And so just like anything else that you're preparing for, practice helps curb your fear.
Okay. Years ago, my daughter was in kindergarten and we were practicing something. She was getting ready to go. I go, you got to practice because practice makes perfect. Practice makes perfect. And she says, no, Mom, my teacher says practice makes you better.
Yes.
I said, you're right. Can't strive for perfection, but it does make you better, the repetition of it all.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's so many times I get on stage and I mess up. Maybe the crowd doesn't know I mess up, but I always make a mistake. And that's part of the process. That's part of growing. It's part of challenging yourself and trying to be better next time. But yeah, there's always a way forward and always
Recovery
room
is
to grow.
key, isn't it?
Yeah,
How you
especially for an
recover.
introvert.
Which surprises me. So for someone who is an introvert who would, really sort of functions better on your own, when you get up and there are 300 people in front of you, 400, 500, how do you get into the space that you can do it?
A lot of alone time.
Okay.
But it's my calling. It's my purpose. I absolutely love it. It's my passion. And yes, it requires a lot of self-care, a lot of alone time, a lot of prep. And yeah, I just get up there and do it. I just love it so much.
So you say part of public speaking is knowing that you have a message. So how do people find what their message is? Because if you really don't hone the message, you're not going to be effective at all.
No, and that's a process. I've worked with mentors and coaches over the years that have really helped me hone in on my message. But it really is important to find what your core message is. And if you can do that and utilize that core message throughout your speech, then the audience is going to take away with so much more than just you getting up there and talking about multiple lessons or points or stories that really don't have a direction.
Tell us about your competitions, the big events you've got going on.
So November 9th, I will be in Toronto competing in the Grand Slam Inspirational Speaking Finals.
Okay.
And I'm one of 3 Americans that are going to be competing. There's 14 speakers total, and the theme is brave, which is right up my alley. So I'm super excited for that. And then a month later, I'll be in Seattle doing my first TED Talk.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
I love a good TED Talk, let me tell you.
I am super excited that they're back to back. It poses a little bit of a challenge with the prep
What's
work,
your TED Talk topic?
So it's on what to do when someone you love disagrees with you.
Oh, wow.
So
that's a whole nother segment.
That's a whole nother segment. Yeah, I'll come back. We can talk about that.
All right. Well, that's all exciting. Good luck to you. And you've opened up a new space in West Point where you're helping to train people who want to do what you do, right?
Yes.
How can we find you?
So I'm in West Point, right across from West Point High School. It's a speaker training center.
Okay.
And I'm training there, and then my clients come in and I train with them. I've been speaker coaching for many years. And so I really enjoy being able to give back to other speakers and help them on their speaking path.
Well, you do it well. You did great this morning. Great to have you. Thank you so much. Good luck to you in the competition.
Thank you.
All right.